What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Honest Tattooer Podcast. My name is John Mesa, and I'm joined by Matt Triano.
Hey, how you doing?
And the homie G Money on the couch. So this is a very mustache-filled episode.
Yeah, I like that look you got going on today.
I'm going Scruff McGruff.
Scruff McGruff. I felt like I had to, try something new. My dad had a mustache growing up, so I was like,
Mine too.
yeah, it's like, let me do it. Why not?
I often think about what my kids will react like if I shave my beard.
Oh, man.
Because Alex is always like, oh, your beard's so spiky anytime I give her a kiss.
Yeah.
But I know if I shave it off,
She'll be like, huh?
she's like, who are you?
I don't like this.
Man, I had a beard when my son was little up until he was maybe 3 or 4. And then I cut it off and he was like, whatever, man. He didn't.
I know who you are.
Yeah, I know who you are, dude. You didn't surprise me. Today was a fun tat day at the shop.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of out of towners, right? Your guy used to be in town, but then he moved out of town, right?
He moved out of town, but he came back.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
snap. That's the same thing with my clients. They're Canadian,
Eh?
and they moved back to New York because they went from Canada to New York back. And then they were like, no, we miss New York. And they came
And then
back.
they came
New
back.
York.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
My dude's originally from, when he first started getting tattooed, he was in DC, then moved to South Carolina. And then he comes up from South Carolina to work on his sleeve. I tried to give him, when people come from far, I'm like, man, I'm going to sit and tattoo this guy up until he taps out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And usually that's what happens until they tap out. Because I want to
Yeah, you want to give them like their day's worth.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
traveled here.
Yeah.
I'll give you a lot of tattooing.
Yep. Barely any breaks. You're just working.
I'm
through
just
it.
going through it. Now I know, though, that if I want to, I got to take the breaks for their sake as much as mine, like mentally, but also like when you're working through, like I was explaining to my client today, I was like, I started somewhere where it wasn't necessarily like too easy, but not too hard. Kind of like right in the middle of your pain tolerance.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you're comfortable within that first hour and a half, that's when the body kind of gets to like, okay, I feel good now.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, I'm going to hit the bad part of this tattoo. And then after that, I'm going to go back to somewhere easy because I want to keep him going. I can't just do all the tough spots all at one time.
Yeah.
I just thinking about it, like at least as us as tattooers, yeah, we're sitting down, but we're moving, we're shifting every now and then.
Yeah.
Our clients, like for the most part, they're in one spot all day long. So I keep that in the top of my mind. Like, all right, it's been 45 minutes, it's been an hour. Why don't
need
you
to
get
move
up?
around.
Yeah, stretch up.
Yeah, so my dude came from out of town. I've been working on his Japanese sleeve, and it was awesome. When he first came and we did the consultations, I just want a Japanese tiger sleeve. You can do whatever you want. I was like, yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good.
It's the best. I'm like, let's do this. And 2 sessions in, and we have a good amount of it done already. I feel like it'll be like a 4-session 3/4 sleeve.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick.
As long as we maintain the same pace.
Yeah.
Every time he's sat, we do at least 5-6 hours. So then that puts it still at 22 hours, I'd say. If I stay in the same pace and we don't go up to 25 hours. But I feel good about it.
Yeah, that feels about right for a 3/4 sleeve.
Yeah, for a 3/4 sleeve. It's not full. If it was full all the way down to the wrist, you add that extra little bit of time.
Oh, yeah.
I had a consultation with my mailman this morning.
What?
I was hanging out outside. Kids were playing in the grass, and the mailman comes. And this was the fill-in guy. I see him every now and then, but he's not my normal mailman. And he hands me my mail, and he's like, so what do I got to do to make a consultation? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I kind of want to get this tattoo. I'm like, well, let's do it right now.
Let's talk about it right now, bro.
He knew that I was a tattooer. And he knows my name. He sees my mail. So he's like, yeah, I looked up your stuff and it's awesome. I want to get a tattoo from you. I'm like, all right, cool. So we had this whole conversation about getting him tattooed. He wants to get a big wolf on his thigh.
Cool.
Yeah, he's going to come down and get tattooed. My mailman.
Heck yeah.
That's sick.
And the great part about it too, it happened right in front of my front door. So the whole thing's on my Ring camera. So everything's documented if I forget what he said.
You gotta just look back. Oh, that's pretty good.
Cool.
That's pretty good.
Cool stuff.
So I wanted to bring up this I saw this reel the other day, and we usually never critique tattoos like unless they're submitted, but this one, after reading like the polarizing comments, I was like, oh man, we got to talk about this thing because it's pretty wild. And it's one of those like impressive looking things, but there's obvious issues with this kind of work, at least in my eyes. And it's this incredible full leg piece of like one of those like Game of Thrones looking dragon guys, you know, like fantasy dragons. And it's literally in like all these orange and yellows. It looks like there's like a little bit of green in there to create a little bit of contrast.
There's like a little bit of purple.
Yeah. It's very painterly.
Yeah.
Very, very painterly. I mean, when you see the tattoo, it looks surreal, or one of those things that it looks unbelievable. And I always think if it looks that unbelievable, you probably shouldn't believe it. I mean, that's just, if it looks too unbelievable, you shouldn't believe in that. And I mean, like when
So here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
And here's a good tip for anybody who's thinking about, is my tattoo or my painting or just anything, does it have enough contrast? Turn it into black and gray, and black and white photo.
oh, this is a
That's
good
right.
idea.
And that's what I just did, and it loses a lot.
Let's see. Let me try this right now. Oh wow, look at that. It's crazy when you see it like that. The only thing that has like true black, it's all the way at the bottom by the ankle when you look at the whole thing. And I'm looking at the whole thing, which honestly, when it was in full color, I couldn't even tell what that was. And now I'm like, oh, there's some like skeletons that are burning on the bottom.
That's probably the only thing that's going to stay really like, prominent after the entire fading. What's crazy to me is just like, if you've been doing this long enough, that orange is a tricky, and depending on the orange pigment or company of orange that you use, it's prone to disappearing very quickly, or at least for the body to digest it and make it disappear, which is why like orange is notorious for, having like a, just like a low life inside the skin.
I think that's what a lot of tattooers that are getting into tattooing now, or in the short years, or I feel like this guy, I don't know. I feel like this guy couldn't be tattooing for that long to make these kind of choices, because it's all about choices. I think it's not that the tattoo's not really well executed for what it is, but they're just minor things that he could have done to execute it where it's like, oh man, that'll be a long lasting, cool looking tattoo.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we're always here judging based on what makes a good tattoo. Now, what makes something visually good could be anything. Like this is obviously like a painting on skin, right?
It's like painting on skin.
But is it going to, the tattoos definitely should be about the art. But first and foremost, it's about the application. And the application means, does it have good foundations in there that's going to make it a long lasting piece of artwork on the skin that you'll continue to live with? This to me, because of the lack of like I said, like it's very risky to just go based on like oranges and yellows and rely solely on those things, because I mean, like 5 to 10 years, we're going to have a problem here. We're going to have a problem here.
I don't even think in that long.
Right? I mean, I'm being nice.
Yeah, you're being generous, because like
I'm being nice because I don't want to take away from the skill level of like artistry that this guy has, because it's awesome. But there are, no matter how many people out there listening want to deny this, tattooing has these certain rules. And of course, in art, there's always like, as long as you know the rules, you can break them, right? But in tattooing, there aren't many of the rules that you should be breaking. That's all I'm saying. And like the no use of black, the, the overuse of like oranges and what I call like transparent or like translucent colors, that aren't that opaque, like you're going to have a problem. Like we've seen these tattoos come back, So I think like, me, you, John, and Matt, we already have what?
There's
like how many years?
So many years of experience
tattooing. And there's guys out there that have been tattooing double, triple the amount of time that we have, and they're still tattooing. They know how things come back and how things age. And they've been trying to tell us. And, you know, we're also trying to pass down that knowledge. But
For sure.
doesn't mean that, you know, not everybody's going to listen. But, I mean, dude.
Here's the thing, though. There's an equal number of tattooers who don't care.
Oh, I know.
And clients who don't care.
Right.
That's the most interesting part.
But
yeah.
they don't care. That's the thing. They don't care now. The clients especially.
Right.
Because they'll care when they have an orange mush on their hands.
How many times has somebody come to you asking for, let's say, like some lettering on the inside of your finger, and you're like, nah, it's not going to look great in a couple of years, maybe even a couple of months. And they're like, I'll worry about that later. I want the tattoo now. Right.
Yeah.
They don't care. But yeah, you're right. Like maybe in a couple of months, that's when it's all blurred out and they're like, fuck, I made the wrong decision. But at that moment, they're like, nah, I just want some cool artwork on me. I want to show my leg off.
Right.
Check out this badass dragon I got.
If you remember, a few weeks back, we had Ed from Tattoo Armor on the podcast, and he was able to hook us up with a discount code for our followers. So Tattoo Armor is literally the best way to wrap your client. I've been using it, Matt's been using it, and it's just awesome. There's no mess, there's no glue, and it's just super comfortable. I hope you can try it for yourself, and just go on to Tattoo Armor and use the code Honest Tattooer for 20% off your order.
I mean, here's the thing. Like when I see that, I'm like, it's incredible. But it's just for the real, just for the shock factor. You know what I mean? Of that moment.
He has a lot of really huge pieces in his portfolio, and some of them look healed and they look good, but they all apply like the same kind of, some of them have good enough contrast, some don't, because he's working off of these references, which he's able to copy to a very high degree. But I think that some of these references just shouldn't be taken directly as tattoos.
There's just a lot of solid fields of colors that I wouldn't, and like blending effects that I wouldn't be using, just because I know how these things are going to like last or don't last. But like I said, it's impressive when people do this stuff. But
yeah, I mean, it's hard to say anything negative just because of how good the artwork is.
Yeah, that's why the artwork is so good.
It's so impressive.
Yes.
But as far as
at the end of the
longevity of tattooing, I think it definitely is going to fall short.
Exactly. So many things aren't going to hold up. I mean, like so many things.
All that white just blasted in by like the knee and all that.
Yeah.
A lot of those skin tones, like,
I hope that person doesn't like to go outside.
The thing is that what a lot of people don't realize is that like this artist, can we mention the name?
I mean, why not?
Whatever. I mean, so like this artist, Dimitri, right? There's like this stuff has been happening for quite a while now. Like there's been great color realism artists, like been in our heyday. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like there's always been that skill level, that ultra realism. Of course, like it always, every decade makes it a little, you know, just a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, you know, we've seen the stuff come back. You know, full color portraits where it's just like all these tones disappear, guys. A lot of these tones disappear, and you're left with like, you know, what once was an incredible piece, now just like a face that's missing so many features, because a lot of those browns, those ochres, those little like slight variations of like skin tones and pinks, gone.
Yeah.
You know, with like just a couple sessions at the beach. It wasn't even that much.
Not that much.
Yeah.
I have tattoos that had certain colors on them that I've just completely gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
That's why now, I mean, not now, but the last couple of years, I've been simplifying and eliminating a lot of the detail in the tattoos that I've been doing, just because I know as it ages, it's gonna get lost anyway. So might as well just start off right.
Like just to keep it as basic as you know it's going to be good. And some people just have such it's like they can't let it go.
I know. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, if you've got a style that you really believe in and you really feel like it's true to you, it's hard to turn that off and do something different for the sake of tattooing. But if you want to be a long-lasting tattooer with a reputation of this guy does tattoos and they look good for a long time, you got to change up your game.
You got to change up your game.
Somebody asked me in the comments of one of my posts, they asked, do I design my tattoos different than I design my paintings? And my response was, yeah, I design my paintings to look good on a wall. I design my tattoos to look good on the skin.
Yeah.
And that's how you should be thinking about it.
Yep.
Realism artists, I believe, they try to blend the two. Like, oh, this will look good.
Find the happy medium.
They will look good on a wall and on the skin. And that doesn't always work.
It doesn't always
Yeah,
work.
not always.
And sometimes some people nail it. Some people like just nail it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, that looks money, you know?
Yeah.
But it's always testing the boundaries of that. But I don't know if like this guy, for example, in his case and with this tattoo, I can see that he's trying to push his skill level and push the things he can do with these tones, but I don't think that's a win. I don't think he nailed that. Just like, man, after I put it in black and gray, holy shit, dude. Yeah, I was like, that's rough.
A lot of stuff disappears.
And then like after I saw in the very beginning of that video, you can see the tattoo in just regular light without the polarizer filter or anything like that, and it already looks very flat. It looks flat already. So then once you put the filter on it, then it has that like over the top glow to it. But when it's in regular lighting, it looks very flat. So if something in regular lighting looks flat, imagine after it heals and it settles, and then imagine after it ages.
Yep.
And I think those are the steps, you know. That's why even when I do black and gray, I always try to go a little bit darker than what you think it should be, because it's gonna lose.
Yeah, it's gonna get lighter.
Yeah, it's gonna get lighter. I love that page of like the healed versus fresh.
Yeah.
Where I saw some tattoos that were done in black and gray that first, and I'm like, oh, that thing looks like way dark.
It's too dark.
Yeah, and then that thing heals, and I'm like, that looks on the money, dude. Like,
I'm curious to know,
Anticipated it.
Elliot, how do you say his name? Elliot Kochek? Is that how you say his name?
Elliot.
Yeah. He recently did a back piece of like this tunnel with all these skulls.
Yes.
The thing is super dark.
Yes, and super blurry. He had like a blur effect that he was doing.
I'm curious to see how that settled in, because it might be the same thing where we think it's just way too dark, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
Well, like he does more of like I don't think he does like gray wash. I think he does like
Just black.
Black and opaque grays, and fills all the way up to white. There is no skin left.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I think like that tattoo was impressive looking, of course, but the part of it that I was like, I don't know, man. It was like there were parts that looked already, they had that blurry effect, but it was so strong that I'm like, imagine after that actually just blurs out.
Yeah.
It shall be unrecognizable, bro.
Yeah.
Completely. I don't know. People are going to say we're hating, but
People always say we're hating.
I don't give a shit.
You know what? Let's hate.
Let's hate together. If you're listening right now, you at least have to understand where we're coming from to a certain degree, because it's kind of just sad to see things like that.
You know what, though? I mean, as much as we're talking about it, I don't hate it. I really think that that's an awesome tattoo.
Yeah, it's a cool tattoo.
For now.
For now, yeah, it's a cool piece of art. You know what I would call that? That was a cool Instagram post.
Yeah, where'd you get that temporary tattoo from?
Yeah, dude, that was a sick Instagram post, bro. It was dope. I mean, it was really good. It had like 500,000 likes on it.
Of course.
Jeez.
500,000, bro.
People like what they see.
People like what they see. People are fooled by things.
How many of that 500,000 do you think turned into a customer?
If I had to guess, I'm going to say 0.2% of that.
It's probably right.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
But
There's also enough
what's 0.2 of a 500,000?
Exactly. What's
Yeah.
0.2? Let's see it.
But there's also enough people in the comment section saying it's gonna, like, a lot of people talking about how it's gonna last or
Yeah,
not last.
saying what we're saying.
So there's a lot of people that are reading through the comments that aren't tattooers, that are just clients, being like, "Oh shoot, other tattooers are chiming in." Saying,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't sound like jealousy, or other people are gonna be like, "It sounds like other tattooer jealousy. I'm definitely booking." You know, so it's like, oh, this guy's good. I'm booking.
That's still 100.
100 people.
That's still 100 people.
That's awesome.
You know, like 0.02.
Yeah, that's 100 people.
That's still 100 people. If like get 500,000 people to look at your post and just 0.02 people that are like, I want to get tattooed by that guy. That's 100 people. That's already a third of your year probably of tattooing.
Almost half. Really think about it.
Yeah, depending on how much you tattoo. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn.
Yeah. Not bad.
That's not a bad gig.
So let's continue on the comments and Instagram things. Did you happen to catch the conversation I had with Gold Soul, the artist?
No.
All right. So on the post that I put up about talking about the snake that we critiqued, where you were talking about the scales, the person used the brushes for the scales.
Yes.
This guy was hating on the fact that we were saying, don't use a brush for your scales, like learn how to draw the scales and all that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with using a brush for the scales. I think it's fine to use a brush for the scales as long as you know that you can't just use it like direct, you know?
So this is what I wrote in the caption. Procreate brushes and stamps are great accessories to have in your tool bag, but it's important to understand how and when to use them, but more importantly, how to learn from them so that you can make the correct drawings on your own.
Right.
And this guy, he admitted he just like woke up and wanted to start arguing.
He gave up midway.
Right after I read that, I was like, I'm done with you. Yeah. But his thing was like, hottest take, who actually cares? Like seriously, 99% of the stuff we as tattooers worry about.
We.
Is so we don't get called out by other artists. Not every client wants a perfect anatomically correct snake. Go look at traditional tattooers. They want something beautiful that implies the snake. Sailor Jerry and Trad Daddies get a pass for drawing mostly mediocre and anatomically wrong animals and faces. Why? Make the math for me. And I'm right. Well, the math is that Sailor Jerry and traditional tattooers intentionally draw things that are not anatomically correct.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, and then he starts comparing that to realism. Like realism and anatomically correct are different. It's not the same.
It's not the same thing.
But he's just going off and off.
Yeah, like a traditional Sailor Jerry style, like monkey, is now meant to look like a real monkey, dude.
Yeah.
But when you see it, you're like, oh, that's a monkey.
Yeah. So I think the thing that we were talking about, the tattoo that we were critiquing, looked like it wanted to be realistic.
It looked like it wanted to be somewhere in the middle. I don't think it wanted to be fully realistic. I think it wanted to be like a fine line illustrative tattoo.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. I call it.
Right.
Yeah, like
so
a
now,
fine line
I got screwed
illustrative.
up like it. So it looked like it wanted to be anatomically correct.
But yes, absolutely wanted to be anatomically correct.
And that's what we were critiquing, that the scales don't look anatomically correct because they're not flowing with the body.
Yes.
Look, back to the brushes discussion. I just want to make a point, you guys. Okay? Don't get mad if the people that can actually draw and practice to draw and try to figure out how scales look correct on things and how to draw them, when those people are making fun of you guys for using those brushes because we can see it, don't get mad. Because that's like somebody being like, the audacity of them getting mad when you're a 30-year-old still on training wheels on your bicycle. And there's other people that know how to ride already without those things, you know?
And I like the brushes. Brushes are good. Like they have their use, of course. But like even when I've used a brush, like you'll have to like edit a little bit and redraw some of the things because it's not perfect. It's not gonna just draw it for you fully. So you can't use it in every sense of the word. But like for example, that brush for the scales, it saves you some time in laying out the grid that you're trying to lay down to, like, you know, draw the scales.
Correct.
And I think that if you use that brush to lay down some scales, the best thing you can do is do another layer and then draw the bit of where the scales are going.
So this goes back to what I was asking you before. So the new Apple Pencil has the barrel roll feature on it. So with the old pencil, if you're trying to make that curve, like with the body of the snake, the scales might not make the turn that you want it to make. Mm-hmm. But with the barrel roll feature, as you're turning, you twist the pencil and it'll actually change the angle of the brush. So I'm wondering now if the scale brush
will actually work effectively.
Yeah. I went to Apple a couple of days ago Because I was under the impression that it was just a new pencil, but you actually have to have the new iPad.
Everything
that works with the new pencil.
Yes, you do.
And I was pretty bummed about that.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah. So I was ready to spend. I was ready to spend like $100, $150
on a new pencil.
Yeah. And then the guy was like, "Oh no, you need a whole new iPad." I was like, "Nah, fuck that."
Is the chip? You need the new chip to be able to make those new computations and shit like that. Same thing with like the Apple Intelligence, all the new like AI features that Apple has, where you can. It's wild, bro. You can do math. You can just write out math, and it'll be like, boop. That's what it is.
Dude.
It'll give you the answer.
Yes.
Get out.
It's wild. You should watch the most recent, or like at least like a short version of it. It's like maybe 10 minutes long, and it'll give you like a little clip of everything that was said in the last like Apple like conference thing of all the new features. All of them are only going to work on the most new like or the newest like iPhones, iPads, and computers. But it's pretty wild, dude. Like the technology is crazy, even to the extent of like you can have AI edit your photos. Like if you take a poorly taken photo, like it's not great, you can be like, "Yo, edit this photo for me," and it'll be like, it'll make the correct decisions.
Man, I was thinking about
How does it know to edit something you like?
Well, I mean, iPhone already does that though.
Well, it does the auto, but it's
not.
But it's not doing it through like it's using a little bit of like learning, but not the same as like artificial intelligence of doing something like this.
I was thinking about it today because I know this is going to happen, and if it doesn't, I'm probably going to give the idea to someone right now. If you're smart enough, I'll give you this idea right here. If an artist draws, let's say, a body, and there's just something that's not correct about it, something a little off, I bet there's going to be an AI tool that can make it more correct. Like, let's say that something, the face is just a little off, like there's something wrong with it. AI will change the drawing,
for sure,
make it better. Or if like you're doing a pose and like there's something just doesn't look right in the body positioning or the angles, like AI will fix your drawing for you.
Well, one of the things from the new features is that, for example, let's say you do a doodle in your notes. You're like, I got this doodle, and you can actually make that doodle into a rendering.
Yeah, Google's had that for a while.
Yes. What's the name of that? Is it Firefly?
No, that's Adobe. Google, I forgot the name of it. I think I don't know. There is Google Bard, but that's not the thing that has the sketch to drawing. Because what I'm thinking of, I forgot the name of what app it is, but you draw a doodle and it'll take your drawing and then give you a multitude of like clip art designs that could be something that you drew. So if you wanted to draw like a happy face with sunglasses, you could just scribble it on and then it'll give you like a clip art version of happy face with sunglasses.
That's one of the newer features too that they're going to have. So now they're going to have like a version where, let's say you want to send an emoji of a dinosaur wearing sunglasses. You can literally be like, I want a dinosaur in sunglasses emoji. And it'll be like, boop.
Yeah.
To the days of just like, oh, the new emoji update. You know what I'm saying? We got like 5 new emojis. That shit's out the door because now you'll be able to generate your own emoji off the rip.
That can get dangerous.
I know. I know. But I mean, like, that's wild. That's wild.
It's depressing. I don't know.
Gabe's
the peach and the eggplant are going to go out the door. The real thing's going to be you.
So you'll be in there.
You know what's crazy about that whole thing? I start thinking about how easy and generic it's going to be to art.
It already is.
Yeah, all these shortcuts, like, I mean, you guys talking about these brush tools and everything, and you know, I'm not old. I just don't want to go in the direction where this is going.
Yeah, I mean, all these things are kind of, I don't know, man. I feel like there's still people that are going to art school and learning how to draw the old school way and doing everything else. And then there's people that are not, that are just watching shit on YouTube and being like, this is good enough. I'm going to figure this out.
Or I'm going to buy the new iPad. I'm going to twist the Apple Pencil. So
but it's a tool. Like, I don't think everybody's going to use that. But some people will.
But see, that I think is more...
John, correction. Everybody's doing it.
I don't think so.
The Apple Pencil thing, though, I feel like that's more realistic to painter who has like a flat brush and he's going to actually have to twist his brush to make the curves. Like I don't think that's a far fetch though.
What do you mean?
If you got a flat brush and you want to paint a rainbow, you're going to have to turn the brush as you're making the arc.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with the new pencil. Because right now with my pencil,
but you're talking about individual brush strokes or like, you know, like movements, but I'm talking about using a whole like
I know what you're
like
talking about.
dragon scales or like snake scales tool, you know, like brush set to twist the pencil so that you can actually like do the curvature or like around how like a snake turns, and then the scales, you know, they'll get deformed if you don't twist the pencil. So
it's like that guy.
It's just making it freaking easier for people that can't freaking draw. This is what I'm talking about. Like the assists, even the line assists, where you like
the line assist is a pain in the dick. Yeah.
Like the line assist. When I see a fucking wonk ass line that you just laid on this like glass pad,
and it goes,
and then it just like corrects it into a perfect curve for you or a perfect line. I'm like, I don't know. It's just, it's cheap to me, man. I'm always like, just fucking draw it. Like, get good at doing straight lines. Get good at doing curves. Get good at pulling lines, you know?
How do you think if all of a sudden,
holy crap,
spell check just went out?
Excuse my
yeah.
Oh,
what if
yeah.
spell check just went out,
mean,
dude?
look at
how do you think people would write you text messages? They'd be like,
I was like, I know you're an idiot. You know you're an idiot. Sound like an idiot to me. Like, text me how you really I'm going to use AI to make me sound smarter in this email.
Yeah, how many dudes out there do you think are literally going on like whatever, you know, dating platforms are and just setting up their chat GPT to talk to like 10 chicks?
Everybody's they're faking the funk, bro. It's like chat GPT, but sound like me, but
nicer.
Yeah.
Man, honestly, I feel like autocorrect makes me more dumb than, like, it makes me sound more dumb. Because I'll hit a button and I'll think that the word is spelled right and I'll keep looking and then I'll send it and it'll be like, it'll say the same word twice or just something totally different. Like, I have to oftentimes reread what I wrote, not because I want to spell check for myself. I just want to double check that autocorrect didn't say something totally different.
Oh man,
Yeah.
there's a comedian that had a bit about, man, I typed something out to autocorrect and it was like, bro, I have no idea what the fuck you're trying to say. they're like, I felt so dumb. Even autocorrect couldn't guess the fuck I was trying to say. I feel like, man, there's people that are going to try drawing and using all these like, you know, AI generated things, and the things like, I don't know what this guy's trying to doodle.
Yeah. You know what still gives me hope though is that like I feel like when you're a true artist, or just, I'm not gonna say true artist because that shit sounds like too snobby, but
Sounds righteous, bro.
I mean, like, oh, when you're
Take the lots of the gate you're keeping, bro.
oh yeah, I'm standing firm in front of that shit. Nobody's getting through. But yeah, I don't know. I hate to sound like such a like grumpy. Oh, father time over here. But it's like
time.
I'm not even seriously, guys. I'm not even that old. But I just like I see where things are going, and I'm like, it sucks. But also, there's still the application and the challenge, and what is the hurdle and obstacle of tattooing properly on the skin, which that challenge in itself is going to weed out a lot of the junk. You know, a lot of the people that are going to fail miserably at tattooing, because at least that aspect of the skin so far with the machines that we have right now, it hasn't really, I'm going to be honest with you, the application of using needle to put pigment under the skin hasn't really changed much, even with the machines. The motion is still the same. It's a movement of up and down penetrating the skin surface. So that in itself has lots of challenges, lots of variables. So at least there's that. But in the art aspect of it, the stuff that's out there right now is like really scary. Like anybody can draw anybody can be an artist out there now. I did like the challenges before. And it's not because it's like, oh, you know, we start really getting into the psychology of things where people start complaining, where they're like, oh, you just don't want anybody else to be able to do, to create or to do the things that And that's not it at all. A lot of artists get into, or a lot of people get into the things that they get into because they see a challenge in that and they want to actually like, not like earn it. You know what I mean? Like just earn.
People love to do shit because it's hard.
Because it's hard.
Yeah. Like
I don't pick up anything because it's easy.
no.
I like challenging things. I people mostly like challenging things.
People like to do things that are hard.
So
And to add to that, I think people like to look at the things that they did and feel a sense of accomplishment, right?
exactly.
So if you look at something that, let's say you drew from scratch, you painted from scratch, you can be like, oh man, I created that. But if you had a lot of AI tools and maybe use brushes or maybe, I don't know, just kind of like overlaid some things together, maybe you thought of a concept, but you didn't actually create it. Right. So the sense of accomplishment after that, it's probably not the same.
It's not the same. It's different.
Right.
It's going to be different. It's like when you're trying to do an actual painting, like a real painting, and you knew that you had to do that painting 3 times.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, that last time I fucking nailed it. You feel so good and accomplished.
Right.
But it's not the same when you're just on your iPad and you're like, back.
Yeah.
Like,
Goodness,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, you're just like, back, done.
So even like that, like you do like a proof or something, right? And you do this like proof on your iPad. And then you're like, oh yeah, I fucking nailed that. I'm such an artist. And then you're like, I'm going to put this on canvas.
I'm gonna paint it.
I'm going to paint it.
Yeah.
And then when you get up there and you bomb
the reality of painting it.
because you start you start noticing that you're like, oh, there's a whole science behind like the material that makes bristles and different brushes, viscosities of pigments, different colors, a color theory, like how to mix and blend pigments, like all these things that are going to take so much trial and error that no iPad could ever show to you. So at least with tattooing, there's that barrier where it's like there is that gate. You know?
Well, that's that. And I think you put it that perfectly where it's like, even if you can do something amazing on or create it through either an iPad or AI or digital, like transferring that into skin and making it be a good tattoo out of it, it's a whole different ballgame.
Oh yeah.
Because you have so many variables, like just like what you said of like, you know, when you're doing with paint, you know, you have all these different paints and viscosity and pen and brushes, etc. And then and at least the canvas is just one, but with tattooing, it's like it varies per person, per the skin, and just where that person's from and what they're doing. And then you have to just adjust things so it's perfect for that person.
Yeah.
And placement also.
And the placement.
And the placement composition is so, it's so challenging on the human body.
That's why when you see a tattoo that crushes in all those angles, you're just like, really, oh, wow.
And the normies don't understand why it looks so good.
No. I'm like, why?
Yeah. And then, you know, like a trained eye will look at it and be like, this guy's a freaking genius.
Yeah, for sure.
Or this girl or guy is a freaking genius.
What do you think is harder for the normie to comprehend? Why a tattoo looks so good or why it looks so bad?
It's harder for them to comprehend why it looks so good because like they'll know it looks good. They'll know it looks expensive. But you know, when something is just like bad, they'll just be like, you know, I feel like the general public looks at bad tattoos.
That's when it's real bad.
Yeah, when it's real bad.
When it's real bad. But like, for example, like that tattoo that we looked at today, like that's cool art, but I don't think that's a good tattoo.
Right.
And that's the part that's really hard for somebody that doesn't understand tattooing to really understand. Like,
That's
what do you mean?
example.
Like, why?
That's a good example. Because most people, the normies, would be blown away. They're like, that's incredible.
But that's incredible art.
Insane.
That guy's an amazing artist.
What?
An example I want to give too is I had a client come in for a consultation and he showed me this piece that he had of, it was like a Art Deco style lady head on his arm. And for what it was done okay, but it was facing backwards. And I told, he wanted to cover up, thankfully. And I was like, all right, yeah, cool. And he wanted to cover it with another lady head. So I told him, it's like, all right, but we're going to make it go the other way. He's like, oh, why? I was like, because it's backwards, dude. And he had no idea. He was like, what? Really?
What do you mean?
Like, there's a direction it's supposed to go?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
bro.
Yes.
Like, but what do you mean, though? This looks great. Like, could look better. Another thing that I wanted to bring up today is the pricing of art, because I've seen a few people discuss it. Someone sent me a video of regarding what we talked about last week.
I'm going to piss some people off with this, but I really don't
Listen
care.
to this.
Tattoo prices and tattoo culture in 2024 fucking sucks. Personally, I don't give a fuck how many Flannels and Joy Division albums you own. I'm not paying you $300 an hour for a traditional tattoo.
As someone from the UK, some of the norms in American tattoo culture would be considered so out of reality to us over in the UK. For example, tipping. Like, tipping does not exist. It just is not a thing. Whereas in America, that's just the norm, right? You get quoted for the tattoo and then you're supposed to tip on top. That would be considered weird over here. We just do not do that. To give you a rough idea of pricing, if we were to translate that into hourly rate, where I live, there's a street of about 10 shops along that strip, and the average hourly rate would be 70 to 80 pounds per hour. £300 an hour would be unheard of in the UK. Do you know why? Because nobody would pay that. Maybe some celebrity tattoo artist somewhere, maybe in London. Not that I've ever heard of anyone charging that much. It might be, but I very highly doubt it.
So what does 80 pounds translate to?
80 pounds. I feel like, oh, man.
$100?
Good question.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, jump on that.
There's always going to be different brackets of quality and luxury. What people don't seem to understand is that tattoos are a luxury. They could be a bagged luxury or a super elite luxurious item. Tattoos can be the same because tattoos are essentially art on the skin. So art has degrees in it and art has demand. So if an artist has a lot of demand and he wants to charge what he charges and the people are paying what he charges, he is worth what he charges.
Right. The market dictates price.
And that guy, and this is something that I say because it's like I respect the tattoo community and everything that it really does. But hey, if you're that guy that charges what you charge, I'm not going to be worried about what you're putting in your pockets. I'm going to be worried about what I'm taking care of.
Yeah,
for real.
So if you're getting paid what you charge, awesome. Kudos to you. People are paying it. That's cool. That's what you're worth. But I always get mad at the other people. They get all mad. I can't believe he's charging those prices. He's like, believe it, because he's doing it.
He's doing it, bro.
And you're over here, yeah. Believe it, because he's doing it. And you're over here worrying about what he's putting in his pockets when you should be doing your own thing, doing your own hustle, charging what you feel you deserve. But he's like, and then other people are going to start breaking. Well, he's fluctuating the prices of like he's raising the bar. The only thing is that it doesn't matter if you know amazing artists out there that are charging dirt cheap. That's their method of making money. So be it. You know what I mean? And I hate to say it this way, but like tattoos shouldn't like have a baseline price, because if I feel that my traditional tattoos, everybody wants to like say traditional tattoos because they should be like affordable, you know, and like granted, once upon a time they were. But there are different levels of even something as simple looking as traditional tattoos. If I'm going to make my traditional tattoos look way better, way crisper, way cleaner than yours, I'm going to charge more than you, dog.
Plain and simple.
I'm sorry. And people are going to notice it. Some people aren't. And they're going to be like, whoa, he charges more than, I'm going to keep getting it from this guy. Cool. That's what's awesome about being able to choose how you want to spend your money and with whom. So that's why it's like, oh, I can't believe this person is charging. I was like, believe it. They're doing it. People are paying it. There's like, he's got a how long wait? Like, I don't hate on that stuff, man.
Well,
I'm just,
if you heard the
tipping thing.
The tipping the guy said, but about, he said, if I go to this street where there's 10 shops all in, like, well, that's
why.
That's why.
They're all trying to undercut each other.
They're all trying to undercut each other.
Exactly.
The guys that are probably charging more than that, they're not on that street with those 10 shops. They're on a class of their own.
Right.
They're gonna be moving in a different way. They're not gonna be in the same place with everybody else, and the cost is not based on just like, oh, I'm gonna compete with the guy next door and give him a cheaper price because they charge this, so we got to charge the same. It's not based on that. That's not the value of their work.
Yeah.
And
You
they're
ever
not
drive down, I think it's Route 46 in Jersey. I think that's what it is. There's a gas station on both sides of the highway, one after another, for about a mile and a half. And each one, as you get further and further, it's like 1 penny less than the last one. It's so hilarious.
Yo. Like, that's how we're going to compete. We have the same thing.
Yeah.
Just 1 penny less.
Dude.
And to answer your question, Matt, so £1 equals $1.25.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So it's almost 1 and 1. Very, very close.
Kind of.
I was going to say something because I know you're like really into clothes.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to make a comparison of like tattoos are like clothes because they're things that we wear. Some clothes that we have are very generic, you know, and some clothes we have can be very exquisite, very high quality. And you're going to see the price difference there, you know, just because we're covering our bodies. The same thing with tattoos. There's qualities out there. There's prices. And it's just like all you guys that are H&M can be charging all your H&M prices, but I'm Louis Vuitton or I'm Prada, and I'm not going to charge what you're charging.
I'm not going to charge what you're charging. I'm in a different place, charging different shit.
And you guys can get mad about it all you want.
Which brings to the last video that I sent you guys that ties into this, and it's about pricing art. And it goes exactly with what you're saying. And I'll play it for you guys.
Tip about art pricing that lots of artists forget. Your art is a luxury, not a commodity. When I buy paper towels, I buy the cheapest one. But people don't buy Rolex and Tiffany because it's affordable. They buy it because it represents something prestigious, something beautifully made, something that's authentic and made with integrity and quality. Don't let your art be priced like a 12-pack of paper towels trying to appeal to the person who buys their decor from Walmart. You will never ever be able to undercut the mass-produced decor market, so don't even try.
That's it.
Dang, girl. What?
Straight
Pretty
up.
much exactly what you were just saying.
Exactly what you just said, dude.
Well, sounds like she has a couple brain cells. Then.
And that's so true, man. It's like, you know, you can either be like, I'm just like every gas station. I can only compete by the value of just, I can do it for $5 cheaper than the next guy because you can't offer more than that. But if you focus on providing high quality work that's custom, that's beautiful, that's taken with attention, you're going to be able to charge way more.
Absolutely.
And people are going to value it more.
And maybe you're also like a very like a fun artist, right? Like you engage your client, you make them feel comfortable. Like they have nothing but good things to say about you. And they tell other people, like maybe they're just likable too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All those things add.
All those things add where it's just like, it is worth it for me to sit down with this person to get incredible art and just to have the whole experience. You know what I mean? That's kind of
Absolutely.
Cool.
I'm going to grab my iPad because I have a recommendation, but I got to look at it.
Okay.
Oh, what? Oh, right. The recommendations. Oh, shit. What do I recommend?
All right, let's wrap this up. I'm going to thank our Patreon supporters.
Oh.
We got someone new who jumped on this week. Okay, this week we are thanking Mr. Kurt Jacobson. Kurt, thank you very, very much for jumping on to the Patreon.
Thank you so much, bro.
If you want to be like Kurt, you can go to patreon.com/honest tattooer, sign up to be a Patreon supporter. There's a couple of tiers that you can select. Each one gets the after show, which is a little extra content that doesn't make it into the show. And that's it. Please do that.
All right.
Please do that.
Yeah.
No, but really, it helps a lot. Everything that you guys are contributing to is going towards building out the new set downstairs, which hopefully within the next week or two we'll be down there and you guys get to see what we've been working on. But if you are a Patreon supporter, you already kind of have a little behind the scenes of what's going on down there. So if you do want to see what's going on before the first episode downstairs drops, you can go check that out at patreon.com/honest-tattooer. Do you guys have any recommendations this week?
I do. I'm looking it up right now. It's a movie. I told Gabe about it during the week because I was like, yo, this movie was so good. And it's on Netflix. And it's called Leave the World Behind. And it's a end of the world movie.
Okay.
It's fucking phenomenal. It's
Who's
a
in it?
phenomenal
Anybody?
film. Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Bacon.
Some A-listers.
What is his name? I'm gonna butcher it. It's like Mahershala something. He's if you saw him, you know who he is.
Okay.
Yeah, this dude's been on so many movies.
So what you're saying is the end is nigh.
It's really, really good. Leave the World Behind. Amazing movie. I watched. It's like really intelligent, like the way that they're giving you all this information, and it's shot beautifully. It's just cinematic as hell. And it's like one of those like creepy thrillers. I don't know when this came out. Like, I don't know if it was like
last year.
Maybe did it come out last year in theaters?
I don't know.
Or did it just go straight to like streaming?
Netflix.
I don't know, man. But it's one of those movies that I watched it and then I watched it again the very next day because I was like, damn, that was like really good. I need to watch that one more time to really digest what I just saw. But it's creepy and it's good.
Cool. I'm going to recommend a website called 3D.sk.
3D.sk?
Yes. And it's a photo reference for artists website. And it has, I'm going to show this to you. So I don't know if you could see this, but like right now, this is just on female models and it'll just like all different generic poses, but then there's 17 different pages of just like different body positions. But then you could filter it down by gender, race. You can put ask for certain costumes if they're holding weapons, and it's just like all these different stock photos of models and positions for artist reference. They've got animal skulls on there too, which is really, really nice. And then like different clothes types, like different types of armor or different types of costumes.
Nice.
So it was really, really cool. Check it out. It's definitely helpful. I used it today for the ninja that I was drawing.
Ninja Girl.
Yeah.
It was a free page?
Yeah. There is something paid about it, but I haven't seen why you would want to pay for it because everything that I've asked for so far is been
Everything's there and it's free.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
That is pretty sick.
So check it out.
Very nice. G-Money, anything?
Not really. I guess off the top of my head, what I can think of as far as like since tattooers are always looking for good references, and this is like an old school one, but I used it recently, so that's why it's at the top of my head. On Instagram, there's this profile that's awesome. If you're looking for great roses, Rose Ref.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the OG page.
The OG page.
Rose
They stopped
Ref.
uploading
In
that,
case
right?
you-
They did. They stopped. They,
but,
brought enough
I mean,
roses there
how
for
many
fucking
roses-
80,
how
bro. How
many
many
more
roses do you
roses?
really need, dude?
I was like, after like 2,000. you're
Yeah, like you're good, bro. You don't really need any more than that.
I think I have enough roses.
Yeah.
So Rose Ref, that's ROSEREF.
There was another one. It was very similar to that. It was like, I forgot the name of it. I've totally forgot, but it was the same thing. But they would show, you know how you get 3 images per row? They would do the same rows in 3 different angles.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it was like Rose Ref Daily, maybe something like that.
All right.
It's like, how many roses do you really need?
Yeah. I think I got all like my tattoo roses from there. Like, past 10 years for sure.
Amazing.
I forgot about that page.
Fuck. I feel like with roses, the center is usually like the hardest one to get. Like, unless you want to just do like a very standard kind of way of like, oh, when I draw a rose off the top of my head, they always look the same in the middle. And then the outside things change.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want the center to look very like organic or very different than like the generic kind of version thing that you see in your head, you have to look at a reference.
Yeah.
But the outside like kind of petals, you can kind of just.
Do you
Those are
like
easier to work.
more pointy petals or more rounded petals?
I like pointy petals.
Yeah, me too.
I like pointy petals. They look just so good. One time I remember I was looking at Rose Ref and I was like, oh my God, that's the kind of pointy roses that I like right there. And I completely forgot the name of, there was like a species of rose. I was like, that's the kind that has those kind of really pointy, edgy.
Every now and then I do like a round one. I guess it depends on where I'm trying to put it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Oh.
Well, guys, we're not going to lie. We're freaking tired. We
It's
tattooed
late.
all day and it's like 11:30 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
11:30 o'clock.
11:30 o'clock. That's how tired we are. But guys, thank you guys so much for joining us again this week, and we'll see you next week.
Later.